Alex Pereira is the UFC's biggest star. He's also one of their most active fighters, and he is certainly their most active champion. But in order for him to continue on this path of destruction, he has to get through Khalil Rountree, a very dangerous, very fast, very powerful striker who is a southpaw and fighting at elevation. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC 307 fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and DraftKings plays. But before we dive into the breakdown, let me showcase my community. Our community of almost 4,000 premium members have put up over $600,000 in winning DraftKings lineups over the past year. These are people that have gone to WeWantPicks.com. They've unlocked the tools like the DraftKings Optimizer. They've unlocked the tools like the cheat sheet. And they've gathered all the information that they need. They've built the lineups. They've entered those lineups. And they've made a fortune. If you want to be like these people and unlock the Optimizer that will build lineups for you. Unlock the cheat sheet that has the ownership projections, the scoring projections. That tells you which type of cash game or GPP pool that you should enter each fighter into. You can do so now. It is only $10 for an entire month. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. You'll unlock every single thing that we do, including the bets. We don't separate fantasy from betting. Everything that we do, the artificial intelligence, the tools, the picks, the bets, everything is included in one single $10 a month package. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. And if you were hesitant, let me remind you that the next 30 days, which that's what a membership is for, you're going to get UFC 307, 2 really good fight nights, and then UFC 308, which on paper is one of the best pay-per-views of the year. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. That's the promo, guys. That's how we pay the bills around here. The way we can afford to do high-quality, highly edited videos is with the premium membership. So even if you don't really care about the tools and the picks and the bets, you just want to support us, that's a great way to do it as well. We are closing in on 30,000 subscribers here on YouTube. We might be at that number by the time you're watching this. It might be a few days later. But either way, genuinely, thank you. Genuinely. I know I'm sitting here yelling, talking real fast, breaking down these fights, but it's all with appreciation and with the support of you guys. Every view, like, comment, even the comments that say that I sit very feminine on my couch, which is a real bizarre plot line. I appreciate all of you. I'm going to show my appreciation by making premium the best product on planet and by breaking down this fight card. So let's go ahead and start with Tim Means taking on Court McGee. This is a battle of the AARP cards. We got 2 guys that probably should be in their last fight in the UFC. And that's not a unique position for this card. We have 4 fighters on this card that are probably done, or should be if they're not. Actually, 5 fighters on this card. And Tim Means is one of them. He's a fun guy. He's gritty. He's an absolute dog. He's a high-volume striker. He'll work in a takedown or 2 if he needs to. He's got that tricky karate style, but it only works for Wonderboy. It doesn't work for too many others. He's very active. He's very frustrating, but he is 40, and he was just knocked out by Uros Medic in his last fight. And that's the problem when we're talking about these older fighters, especially older strike-first type fighters. He's taking on Court McGee. Court McGee is the underdog, a big underdog in this fight. $7,200 in DraftKings Fantasy. He was almost a 2-to-1 dog on the betting odds, and I think Court McGee wins. And am I wildly confident? No, because Court McGee is also 40 years old. He is a battle-tested veteran, but his chin isn't the best either. He was knocked out by Brown. He was knocked out by Jeremiah Wells. Like, he hasn't had the greatest run, but he is good. And he does move forward. And he does work his ass off. And he does train. And this is at elevation. So that forward pressure, that hard work, that determination, as long as his chin holds up, which we don't know, but as long as his chin holds up, I think he can squeak out a win. I think he can grind forward and get a takedown. He is coming off this loss to Alex Morono, but first of all, Alex Morono can be very good. I say can be because he's a little unreliable, but Alex Morono can be very good. And Court McGee took a round off him. He outstruck him. He also got a takedown in that fight. Like, Court McGee didn't look as bad in his last fight as Tim Means did in his. And I know that's not like the greatest logic in the world to use, but when we're looking at these DraftKings fantasy salaries and you get a pretty good fighter who is battle tested, who's also fighting an old, I think you got to shoot your shot. I think $7,200 is pretty appealing, and I may have him in my lineup. That takes us to the second fight of the night, which is pretty early on the card, but I'm glad it is so that it doesn't screw up anybody's plans for the evening. And we'll break that down when we get to the co-main event. But we got Tecia Pennington taking on Carla Esparza. Tecia Pennington is Raquel Pennington's wife. She's formerly Tecia Torres. She came back after a 2-year layoff and fought Tabitha Ricci in her last fight. She did lose that fight, but you could argue she won. She had a great fight. She moved forward, was busy. The cardio was there. She actually looked physically spectacular. The skills all seemed the same. It was like she never left. Problem was she just wasn't strong enough, and Tabitha Ricci held her against the cage. Point being, Tecia Torres was a busy, whirling dervish of forward pressure before the layoff, and she still is after the layoff. She's not dangerous, but she is busy, she is fast, she has cardio for months, and she will stay in your face. She's taking on Carla Esparza. Carla Esparza, the former world champion. If you're unfamiliar with who Carla Esparza is, well, she is on a 2-year layoff herself because she lost her belt to Weili Zhang, and then she left the sport to say, I'm going to get married, I'm going to have a kid. And now she's coming back. This is squarely her retirement fight. She has flat out said, I am retiring no matter what the outcome is. And if I'm being honest, and I'm not trying to body shame, she looks like this is her retirement fight. And I get she went through the highs and lows. Like you have a kid that destroys your body. She got in great shape, and now she's back. But if you have her standing next to Tecia Torres, they are in very different physical conditions. Carla Esparza looks like it's her retirement fight. And I do think that's a factor here. But a prime Carla Esparza, the Carla Esparza who won the UFC belt in 2014, the first ever champion at this weight class, ever. She won the belt. She lost it to Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Then she had a mixed bag, did pretty well, worked her way up the ranks. Look at this. Look at this win streak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to win her belt back 10 years later or 8 years later. And then she did lose it to Weili. Carla Esparza is a phenomenal, just forward pressure, gritty, grindy wrestler. But at elevation, after a 2-year layoff, knowing this is your last fight ever, I don't think she's going to go out on her shield. I do think she'll come forward, be a step behind, be a little slow, not have success. And I think Tecia Pennington is going to get it done. The problem is, Tecia Pennington is expensive. I don't think she wins by finish. She's not going to get her own takedowns. I don't think she's worth the money. If we go back to Pennington very quickly and we look, she scored 35 in the last fight. Let's say they gave her that decision. That's 65. That's nothing. We go back to when she beat Angela Hill. She did score 97 points, and that is the volume, 144 significant strikes. I don't think she's going to have that much volume here because Carla will look to wrestle and pressure. I don't think Tecia gets it done. Sorry, I do think Tecia gets it done. I don't think she's going to be worth it at that $8,700 price point. Then we have Ryan Spann taking on Ovince St. Preux. This is a fight that was rebooked. This was supposed to happen 3 weeks ago. And then Ovince St. Preux pulled out. It just said medical condition. I've broken down this fight. I have put this call of action to the community multiple times. I think we're at like 30,000 views worth of people. And nobody could tell me why Ovince was pulled from that fight. It just said sick. So I don't know. Was he throwing up? Was it a weight cut issue? Like, what was it? Nobody knows. But this is supposed to happen 3 weeks ago. It is now happening here at Elevation. Elevation's a little bit of a factor now, but I don't think much more. And frankly, the breakdown's pretty much the same. We have Ryan Spann, a massive dude, 6'5", incredibly dangerous, not only with the power in his hands, but also his ability to snatch up submissions. The guy has 21 wins. 18 of those 21 wins are by stoppage, and it is a mixed bag of knockouts and submissions. He's very, very dangerous. He's also not very durable. I do think he beat Anthony Smith. I think he got robbed in that decision. So I think he beat Anthony Smith. But obviously he got subbed by Nikita Krylov. He got subbed by knocked out by Guskov. He smoked Dominic Reyes, but who hasn't? Smoked Kutalaba, but who hasn't? And then here's that other Anthony Smith fight where he was subbed. It's a mixed bag. Very dangerous, not very durable. But he is humongous, and he is only 30-something, and his opponent is well into his 40s. We got Ovince St. Preux. Ovince St. Preux, 40-something-year-old Ovince St. Preux, who, if you go back, fought John Jones. Let's keep going. Let's keep scrolling. He has been around forever. He fought John Jones in 2016. Ovince St. Preux at one point in time was very, very good. And he is still very good. I mean, he made his UFC debut in 2010, 14 years ago, almost to the day. 14 years ago, he made his UFC debut. He is a talented guy. He's very athletic. He can be fast. He's got good hands. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He's good at everything. The problem is he can be gun shy, and he's made a whole bunch of career missteps. Moving up to heavyweight when he shouldn't have, to lose to Ben Rothwell. Yeah, to lose to Ben Rothwell. Taking other fights on short notice. He's also not the most durable guy in the world. He can be dangerous, but he's not wildly dangerous. And he's a little frustrating to watch because you know how good and how talented Ovince Preux is, but he just sometimes will just watch. He won't let his hands go. He won't engage. I think Ryan Spann wins this fight. I think the size difference will matter. There's a power advantage on that side. It is elevation. There's about 10-year age difference between the two of them almost. But I can't touch either side of this. Now, with that being said, if you are entering your lineup into a large GPP, guaranteed prize pool tournament, you're chasing that $150,000 payout, you probably need some exposure to one of these fighters. Because whoever wins this fight is going to score a ton of points. Elevation does weird things, but this should be a pretty straightforward win for one of them. There should be a knockout or a submission on either side of this. And hopefully just not a staring contest of heavy breathing. I'm picking Ryan Spann. I'm not putting him in my lineup. He's so much money. And Ovince just beat Kennedy and Chukwu in a similar underdog spot. So we're going to leave that alone. Then we have Cesar Almeida. And he is taking on another striker in Ihor Potieria. Cesar Almeida, $9,400. He is very expensive, and it kind of makes sense because he should dominate this fight. He's a very, very good striker. He's got a loose style. He's got powerful hands, and he's a professional kickboxer before making his way into MMA. He literally fought Alex Pereira 3 times. He lost to him twice, but he beat him once. He's training with Alex Pereira for this fight. He's a high-level kickboxer and does all the things you expect him to do. He's got good combinations, good power. He's very dangerous every single second of the fight. The problem is he does all the things you would expect a high-level kickboxer to do, like not defend takedowns well. And that is how he lost to Roman Kopylov. He was having success in the striking. Roman, who was also a very high-level striker, was like, nah, I'm not doing this. And so Roman turned into a Nurmagomedov, and he ended up wrestling. Even with all the takedowns and all the wrestling, Cesar Almeida still landed 58 significant strikes, 114 strikes total, and put up 34 points on the board. And that was getting his ass wrestled. I think Cesar Almeida dominates this fight, but we'll take a look at the Ihor Potieria side. Where the hell is it? Cesar Almeida, Ihor Potieria. There we go. Ihor Potieria, also a professional kickboxer that worked his way into MMA. And he has triple. No, what triple? What am I, crazy? 5 times. He has 5 times the amount of MMA experience that Cesar Almeida does. The problem is Ihor added none of those tools. None of them. Look how many takedowns he's had. 0. He's added none of those tools. He is not. You go look at Roman Kopylov, who has added all the tools. And then you look at Ihor Potieria, who's added none of those tools. He's a kill or be killed striker. He relies on his chin. He is a good striker. He relies on his chin, but his chin doesn't always allow him to rely on it. He's not completely useless. He did just beat Robert Burchak while moving down from light heavyweight to middleweight. And he looked pretty good. He was dancing. He was feeling himself. He wasn't the chinny guy that we thought he was before that. But Ihor Potieria shouldn't win this fight, right? This should be striker versus striker, and Cesar Almeida is the better striker. It should. Sometimes this sport is as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you get some bullshit like Joanderson Brito not getting that decision. In this case, it should be 1 + 1 = 2. Cesar Almeida plus a mostly striking match equals a win. Cesar Almeida is the pick, and he's probably in my lineup because Ihor can be a bit chinny, as you've seen here with all of these losses. That takes us to Alexander Hernandez taking on Austin Hubbard. This is the newest fight on the card. This was just dropped today. We just got pricing for this fight. And by no surprise, Alexander Hernandez is a good size favorite here at $8,600. And I say no surprise because he is the better fighter. He's straight up the better fighter in this matchup. He's the better overall fighter in most matchups, including to Damon Jackson. He's the better fighter than Damon Jackson, but he lost that fight because of his decision-making. He's a better fighter than almost everybody he fights, but he makes terrible decisions. And that is how he only has one win in his last 5 fights. Alexander Hernandez got fast hands, powerful hands, good wrestling, both offensively and defensively. He's got decent cardio, incredible speed. He has everything you want in a fighter except the IQ. He was fighting Damon Jackson. Damon Jackson was winning that fight with just pure grappling. Pure grappling. Fine. It is what it is. And what happens in the 3rd round? Alexander Hernandez has his moment. Cracks Damon Jackson. Has him dead to rights. Just keep striking. Do you think he kept striking? He didn't. And he ended up losing a decision because he makes terrible decisions in fights. He's taking on Austin Hubbard. Austin Hubbard's a good fighter. He's a gritty guy, decent everywhere. He's got a ton of heart, a ton of power, especially in his hands. He's mostly a striker, but he can be well-rounded overall. He can sneak in a takedown if he needs to. If he does get taken down, decent get-up game. He is coming off this win over Mikhail Figlak, where he was getting pieced up early, squeaked in a takedown. It was kind of a tricky decision. I don't think he actually won that fight, but they gave it to him anyway. But he was busy. He doesn't quit. He stays moving. He'll be in your face. He is busy. And that's what's going to be tricky here, because Alexander Hernandez is the better, more talented fighter. But you just can't trust that guy. You just can't trust him. Alexander Hernandez should be the pick. Should be. And he is actually the pick. But I don't trust him for my DraftKings lineup. I don't trust bets on him. I'm just going to leave it alone. If you distrust him as much as I do or more, and you want to throw a little Austin Hubbard in a lineup or two, that might be worth it. Because he could absolutely squeak. I mean, look what he just did. 84 points in a fight that I don't think he won. And this could be more of the same. Alexander Hernandez, the better fighter, but just not trustworthy enough to spend your money on. Then we have Iasmin Lucindo taking on Marina Rodriguez. This is another tricky spot, and I do think elevation matters here because Iasmin Lucindo is a grappler. She will use her speed and her power to clinch you up, either drag you to the cage or just drag you down in the middle, but she is trying to get you to the ground. Once you're on the ground, she's got very good top pressure. She used strikes to loosen you up, and then she'll work towards submissions as you're pushing away and trying to defend. Her game plan is always get a fight to the ground, control, and try to squeeze a win from there. She is coming off this win over Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Solid win. Polyana Viana, solid win. Submitted her. Polyana's a very good jiu-jitsu. Beat Brogan Walker. Lost to Iasmin Yaryui. That's not the best look in the world, especially now that we see Iasmin's a chinny asshole. But this was her UFC debut, and Iasmin does have phenomenal hands, just no chin whatsoever. These wins are decent, and it's a solid elevation of talent, and this is the next step. Iasmin Lucindo should win, but elevation matters because she's fighting the best fighter she's ever fought in Marina Rodriguez. Marina Rodriguez, tried and true veteran. Tried and true veteran. She's fought everybody worth anything. Amanda Lemos, former title challenger. Verna Jandiroba, future title challenger. Jessica Andrade, former champion. And she beat everybody who isn't those people. She beat Michelle Waterson. She beat Yan Janan, former title challenger. Beat Mackenzie Dern. Beat Michelle Waterson again. Beat Amanda Ribas. Knocked out Amanda Ribas. Amanda Ribas is solid. She lost to Carla Esparza because of the wrestling, and then obviously some other fights that go well into the 20 teens. The reason I think Iasmin Lucindo wins, and spoiler alert, I think she wins, is because I think the grappling is an obvious game plan. We watched Carla Esparza do it to her just a few years ago. Michelle Waterson even got a takedown, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think Michelle Waterson even squeaked in a takedown. I think Marina Rodriguez is the better striker. But I don't think she's going to be able to defend the forward pressure and the takedowns. The problem is, my only hesitation here, and I may have some exposure to Iasmin Lucindo in my lineup. Iasmin's going to be the pick. My only hesitation here is Iasmin Lucindo needs to have 15 minutes of cardio. Marina Rodriguez is too good to catch her in some dumbass submission. That's not going to happen. Marina Rodriguez will be able to dance around and defend takedowns without gassing. But in order to be the offensive grappler and push the grinding style and get the takedowns and drag to the ground, that is a little bit exhausting, and elevation might completely screw that up. So without knowing what kind of shape Iasmin Lucindo is actually in, I'm going to be a little hesitant here, but Iasmin should win, and she is the pick. Then we have Joaquin Buckley taking on Wonderboy Thompson in the featured prelim of the evening. This is I don't want to say controversial because it's not controversial, but this is a fight that has a lot of people going back and forth. A lot of people love Wonderboy Thompson. A lot of people love him in this fight. I love him as a fighter. I've been a fan of his for a very long time. Seems like quite literally the nicest guy in this sport. Always has a smile. Ridiculously good looking. Very fun to watch. Keeps that karate style relevant, and you're not just like a weird dork with your arms out. So I love Wonder Boy. But this is a tough fight because he's taking on Joaquin Buckley. And Joaquin Buckley was a former middleweight, a little undersized, so he went down to welterweight. And since he's gone to welterweight, he smoked Paulo Fiallo, smoked Alex Morono, smoked Vicente Luque, smoked Nursultan Ruzaboyev. This is the impressive one. Luque is getting a little old. Morono's inconsistent. Fiallo's not even in the UFC anymore. Ruzaboyev is the impressive one because that dude is huge. Huge. He's big at middleweight, let alone at welterweight. He's a very good wrestler who's got hands and power. He has all the things. Ruzaboyev had the makings of like, this guy's going to go on a run. And Joaquin Buckley made it look kind of easy. He had a knockdown. He had takedowns. He wasn't afraid to engage. He wasn't afraid to wrestle, and he just looked good. He is so fast that he gets away with technical holes. These are not beautiful takedowns, but they're lightning fast and they're right up the middle. And I think he will have success doing it because Wonderboy Thompson can struggle with takedown defense. And before you tell me, he defended Rakhmonov's takedowns are not good. They're not good. He's the most dangerous guy in this division ever, but his takedowns aren't very good. He just sticks with them. Because we watch Bilal Muhammad take him down over and over. We watch Gilbert Burns take him down over and over. And that's the easiest path to victory for Wonderboy. Striking. Strike for strike with Wonderboy is tricky to do. He beat Kevin Holland, although Kevin did break his hand. He beat Jeff Neal. He beat Luque. All in striking matches. The losses are from grapplers. I think Joaquin Buckley's going to come in with a little bit of a grapple game plan. And he's so fast that it's going to be hard for Wonderboy to adjust. I also think Joaquin Buckley can have some success striking literally because of the speed. Wonderboy is 41 years old. Eventually, you look old. Eventually, you slow down. Eventually, the speed isn't there. I don't know when that'll be, but we haven't really seen him in a real fight since 2022 with Kevin Holland. And early in that fight, he was getting pieced up. Kevin was touching him, and then Kevin broke his hand and the tides turned. We didn't see shit in the Rakhmonov fight, defending takedowns. So last time we really saw, is his speed still there? Can he still do this? Can he still do that? Was in 2022. I think Joaquin Buckley wins this fight, and I hate it. I love Wonderboy, but sport passes everybody up at some point in time. Then we have Kayla Harrison taking on Ketlen Vieira. Kayla Harrison in her second ever UFC fight. Her first was against Holly Holm. Holly Holm, tried and true vet, former champion of the world, only fought the elite of the division for the last 10 years. And Kayla Harrison tossed her on her ass and got her subbed. Twice. Kayla Harrison, if you don't know, is quite literally the most decorated American judo practitioner in history. Male or female. 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Multiple-time world champion. Kayla Harrison, if she touches you, you're going for a ride. You are getting tossed on your ass. It's just that simple. She's done it to basically everyone. She's new to the UFC, but she's not new to this sport. She's not full-blown well-rounded yet. Like, she will strike. She's improving. She is at American top team, working on those skills, improving every single day, training with some of the best in the world. Quite literally one of the nicest people in this sport that I've met. And I didn't spend any meaningful time with her, but you meet her, oh, hey, quick chat, and then she continued the conversation, meaning she was just excited to have the conversation and just willing to engage with the fan. Kayla Harrison's spectacular, and I think she dominates this fight because she is fighting a giant in Ketlen Vieira. Ketlen Vieira is absolutely humongous, but I don't know if you've seen a picture of Kayla Harrison or watched her fight. She is jacked to all hell. And it's not cosmetic. She is jacked with Olympic level muscle. Fast twitch muscle. Muscle that moves bodies, tosses people over their heads. And it's going to be a problem for Ketlen because Ketlen has a judo black belt. Ketlen cares about the grappling exchanges. That's her thing. She wants to push you against the cage, hold you there, control you there, trip you, get you to the ground and work. But if she engages in that kind of fight with Kayla Harrison, she's going for a ride. She's not going to bully big-ass, strong Olympic Kayla Harrison. So her only hope is to be huge with the reach and keep her on the outside of her punches, which I don't think she's going to be able to do that as well. Kayla Harrison should win this fight. I am going to spend all of that money to have her in my lineup because I think she could win by finish. And before you remind me that I just told you that Ketlen Vieira has a judo black belt, there are levels to everything. One of these women was the best judo practitioners on planet Earth for 8 years. The other one got a judo black belt and did not compete internationally. There are levels. And we're about to learn all about the levels in this fight, because you're going to tell me, well, Kevin Holland has a jiu-jitsu black belt. And I'm going to tell you, Roman Dolidze is a world champion. Kevin Holland has a jiu-jitsu black belt from his jiu-jitsu gym. Roman Dolidze took his black belt on the road and beat everybody on the planet. If you looked at a globe, because the earth is round, if you looked at a globe and you spun it around, you tapped anywhere on there, Roman Dolidze, at one point in time, not today, but at one point in time, was the best in the world, no matter where you tapped on that globe. And it's going to matter in this fight. Kevin Holland is a very good striker, as we all know. Laser pinpoint accuracy. He's also very good on the ground. Good jiu-jitsu black belt. He's dangerous on the ground. Problem is the transition. He has no wrestling. The takedowns suck. The takedown defense sucks even worse. There's nothing in between. Good striker, good on the ground, nothing in between. And he could traditionally get by with just the very good striking. But he did struggle at middleweight with people who would take him down. We watched people just body him, push him around. Derek Brunson bullied the shit out of him. Marvin Vettori bullied the shit out of him. Then he said, you know what? I need to go down to welterweight. And he had some success. Shemaev doesn't count. Next level, that doesn't count. Then he fought Wonderboy. Then he got outstruck a little bit by Wonderboy. Okay. Ponzinibbio, gone. Michael Chiesa, 185 years old, fine. Jack Della Maddalena outstruck him. Michael Venom Page, who does the karate style like Wonderboy, outstruck him. And then he just subbed Ola Jacek. And I ran through his full fight history to sort of show you the different levels of success he's had at welterweight versus middleweight. This fight is at middleweight. And that matters because he is fighting a big middleweight. He's fighting Roman Dolidze. And poor Roman got the hair transplant and they're still using an old picture. The guy's gorgeous now. Hair for days. Thick as shit. Hair for days. And they're still using the old picture. That's gotta suck. But what doesn't suck is his jiu-jitsu. What doesn't suck is his striking. What doesn't suck is his wrestling. Roman Dolidze is strong. He's powerful. He's got big-ass hands, and he will swing wild to try to knock you out. He will also drag you to the ground. And on the ground, you are going to be in a hell of trouble. That Jack Hermanson, it says KO, TKO. Go watch that fight. Jack Hermanson was a feared black belt. Go look at what Jack Hermanson did to Kelvin Gastelum when they fought. Subbed that guy in like 8 seconds. Just bang, ankle, boom, goodbye. Roman Dolidze, the very first grappling exchange that those two had, Roman embarrassed that guy. There are levels to this. Roman Dolidze is going to be the pick, and he is going to be in my lineup. Here's the concern. His cardio is not great, and this is at elevation, and you can't always trust him. You can't trust him. He's so much better in the grappling department, but doesn't always use the grappling, which is infuriating. But if he does decide to grapple, does decide to do the right things, you can expect to be dazzled. Roman Dolidze is the pick, and he will be in my lineup. Then we have Jose Aldo, and he is taking on Mario Batista. Jose Aldo, I'm going to say Jose. I know it's Jose. I just can't do it. My brain is just going to say Jose over and over and over. So just deal with that. Jose Aldo is the greatest featherweight that has ever lived. He's a better featherweight than Volkanovski. Certainly was a better champion, the first ever, ran through the division, then went down to 135s, basically ran through that division as well. Jose Aldo is one of the greatest, most talented, well-rounded guys we have ever seen fight. He has the greatest takedown defense of all time in any weight class. He's got some of the best leg kicks we have ever seen in any weight class. Jose Aldo is very, very good. Problem is he's very old. He retired. He lost to Merab in a fight where he was basically just held against the cage. That's all it was. He defended every single one of Merab's takedowns. Defended them all. Held against, literally was bored, fake yawning, just defending takedowns. But he couldn't mount any offense either because he was just held against the cage. Then he retired, left for 2 years, came back, fought Jonathan Martinez, and honestly beat his ass. He did it in like a fun way, if that makes sense. He wasn't a killer. There was opportunities where he looked like he was going to finish and then didn't. Took his time, just had some fun with the young kid, and reminded everybody how good he is. Jose Aldo's very, very, very good, but he is old. They say he's 38. I promise you he's not 38. He grew up in the favelas. When it was time to do something with his life and leave, he had no paperwork. So he went to the I don't know, town hall, consulate, whatever it is. And they said, how old are you? And he lied about his age. He said he was younger than he actually was. So then forever, he's a few years younger on paper than he is in real life. He is older than 38 years old. He hasn't looked old yet, but he will eventually. And this might be the fight. He's fighting Mario Batista. Mario Batista is not great by any means. And I know people love, this is Twitter. This is the guy who's supposed to beat Jose Aldo. And it's Mario getting hit with a punch. It's like, okay. Okay, then we can highlight Jose Aldo getting hit and be like, this is the guy who's supposed to beat somebody 15 years younger than him. You can't look at a snippet in time. You have to look at the body of work. Mario Batista is a busy forward pressure striker. And I would be more confident in Mario if he didn't tell everybody he was going to try to mix in some takedowns. Why the hell would you try to do that? And I get it. He's got 12 takedowns in his last 6 fights. He is on this 6-fight win streak. He's got 12 takedowns in these last 6 fights, and that's impressive. It's a nice little wrinkle because he's normally a high-volume striker. Give one to get one. But you're not going to take down Jose Aldo. Merab didn't do it. You're not doing it. So stick with the stay in his face. Be young, fast, move like crazy. Try to exploit the cardio issues. Jose Aldo's at 135, at 40 years old. At elevation, try to exploit the cardio issue. Stay busy as shit, moving around, make him work, stay in his face. I do think Mario wins. I'm not putting him in my lineup because my whole Mario wins is predicated on Jose looking old, and we haven't seen him look old yet. It's honestly kind of a trash take on my part, but we're going to leave it there. If you want to throw Jose Aldo in your lineup, nobody's going to complain. I think we will all be rooting for him. I don't know who, outside of Mario Batista's mother and father, who's rooting for him. Everybody wants Jose to win. Co-main of the evening, Raquel Pennington. Her low-scoring ass should be in your lineup. And she did just score a ton of points in her last fight. But that's because Mayra Silva was just a human punching bag. Raquel Pennington will be in my lineup at $8,400. It is a discount, and I'm happy to spend that money. She dominates this fight. And maybe not as dominant as we saw against Bueno Silva, but she should win this fight. Raquel Pennington is one of the most complete fighters in this division. She's got good striking, good grappling, great fight IQ, great cardio. She lives at elevation. She should dominate this fight. And you should get a full 5 rounds of activity out of her, which will help you score really well. She put up 145 points in her last fight. 70 points in the fight before that, which was 3 rounds. 83, the one before that, 3 rounds. 93 in the one before that. There was a finish. I think Raquel Pennington wins this fight. I think she does so pretty dominantly, pretty straightforward with good volume. I don't know if we're going to get a bunch of takedowns out of her because even though her grappling is so good, it's really cage control. But we will get control time out of her. And here's a perfect depiction of that. 11 and a half minutes of control time off 1 takedown. And that's because she's boring as fuck. Like, she's so boring. Look at this. 1 takedown, 11 and a half minutes of control time. That means the rest of it was just holding somebody against the cage. She's boring, but she's going to win, and she scores well in your DraftKings lineup. She's fighting she is Raquel Pennington. She's fighting Juliana Pena. They have history. They hate each other. They were in the Ultimate Fighter house together. They were bunk mates. They hate each other. They absolutely hate each other. There's clips of them doing each other's makeup, and they're just talking women shit. Just women talking shit to the camera immediately after being like, oh, this eyeliner looks so pretty on you. I can't stand this bitch. She's the worst roommate. They hate each other. And Juliana Pena is exciting. For Raquel Pennington's boring cage control style, Juliana Pena just moves forward at all costs. Head down, punches like this. The technique is dog shit, but she just marches forward, looking to get a win. And she is fun to watch, and she is busy. She relies on her cardio. She is not in Salt Lake City just yet, which is, well, now she is by the time I'm filming this, but she didn't get there till the rest of the fighters got there, meaning she didn't come out of pocket to get up there early and train at elevation. She waited till fight week to get to elevation. All of that works against her. Juliana Pena is fun. She's busy. She comes forward. She is the former champion as well. She beat Amanda Nunes after getting her shit pushed in the first round for 5 full minutes. Her opponent got exhausted, beating the hell. She Homer Simpsoned. Got her ass kicked, stayed durable, pulled off a win. She Homer Simpson. And then we have the main event of the evening. Alex Pereira, $9,600. Khalil Rountree, much less money than that. Listen, the big temper tantrum in the world of MMA and the MMA fan base and the comment section, the community and everybody else was that Khalil Rountree is ranked number 8. He doesn't deserve a title shot. Well, I filmed the whole video. You can go check it out on the channel. It's called A Hot Take. I filmed a whole video about Khalil Rountree and how he does deserve this fight. He's on a 5-fight win streak. 4 of those wins are by finish. Khalil Rountree has the longest win streak of anybody in the top 5 at this division. It's not even close. And before you say Ankalaev had a crack at the title and blew it. Ankalaev went to a no contest with Johnny Walker just a few fights ago. Like Ankalaev, I get it. I understand why he's like supposed to be so good. But it's not absurd that Khalil Rountree has this fight. Now let's get back to this breakdown. Alex Pereira, we all know him by now. Former world champion kickboxer in multiple weight classes. Came over to the UFC. Was getting touched up a little bit. Was losing. Then comes back in the 5th round. Beats Israel Adesanya. Rematches. Beating the shit out of Izzy before he gets caught with a big overhand. Then he says, I cut too much weight. Moves up to light heavyweight. Hasn't lost since. Hasn't lost since moving up to light heavyweight. Beat Jan Blachowicz in a close fight where he was taken down a little bit sloppy. And then since then, God mode. Knocked out Yuri Prochazka, who's kind of chinny. Knocked out Jamal Hill, who turned into full heel after that. And then knocked out Yuri Prochazka again. Alex Pereira has come into the UFC, been busy as hell. Look at this. 2024, 2024, 23, 23, 23. Busy as absolute hell. Fought 3 times in 2023. He's going to fight 4 times in 2024. This guy is unbelievably busy. And we love him for that. We absolutely love him for that. Alex Pereira has the touch of death, and if he lands on Khalil Rountree, it's going to be a problem. It's a little tricky, though, because Khalil is also a striker. Khalil also is a southpaw. Well, Alex Pereira's biggest knockout strike is that left hook. It's a little harder to get that on a southpaw than it is on a conventional fighter. So I don't want to say that a tool is not available to him, but it's certainly not as easily accessible it has been against previous opponents. Khalil Rountree is very good. He is fast as shit. He moved to Thailand years ago, adapted that true Muay Thai style, and now he moves forward with straight punches, speed, accuracy, and power. He's very dangerous. Knocked out Anthony Smith. You guys are clowning him for that, but you know who didn't knock out Anthony Smith? John Jones. Smoked Dawkins. Went to a decision with Jacoby. Well, Jacoby was also a very good high-level kickboxer. I think Jacoby won that fight. Smoked Robertson. I don't know if he's in the UFC anymore. Smoked Bukauskas. And I get it. These are questionable wins. And that's why I think Alex Pereira wins this fight. Sometimes, again, 1 + 1 = 2. The most powerful striker we have ever seen in this sport, fighting a guy that has been knocked out before, 1 + 1 = 2. I am going Alex Pereira. When I build my lineup, I don't know. I'd rather spend the money on Kayla Harrison, Raquel Pennington, on those people who I'm positive are going to win. If Alex wins, he scores really well, as he always does. If he loses, he's going to score almost nothing, and Khalil will score a ton of points. You probably need at least one lineup with Khalil in it, because the fact that these odds are as wide as they are is a bit surprising, because Khalil could arguably be the most dangerous striker that Alex has fought. And before you say Jiri, he chinned that dude twice, knocked him out cold. Twice. Don't tell me Jiri's the most dangerous striker he's fought. It's Khalil Rountree. This is going to be an interesting fight. I'm looking forward to it. Guys, that is the breakdown. Let me know your thoughts. And also go to the website. Become a premium member. Join this exclusive club of almost 4,000 people. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's $10 for an entire month. You're going to unlock 4 cards. UFC 307, 2 really good fight nights. UFC 308. You're going to unlock tools like the Optimizer. You're going to unlock the cheat sheet. You're also going to unlock all the pits, the bets, the artificial intelligence, everything that we do, one single package for an entire month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top.